What's up, everybody? It's Clouded Truth, and oh my goodness, I am glad to be talking to you guys because at the time I record this, about about an hour and a half ago, almost 2 hours ago, I guess you'd say, we had a bunch of tornadoes come through where I live. Which, in case you guys don't know, I do live in Kentucky. So, for those of you out there that are wondering, yes, I'm from Kentucky. And we had quite a few large storms come through, which were kind of threatening. And we had some, like, there's hail everywhere. We had, people saying, oh, here's a tornado. They had some damage in Indiana. Sorry, shipping container, did not mean to run into you. There was just craziness. And it was, I was really wondering, is this, we could get hit? So I was kind of just taking cautiously. I was going to upload a video, but then I was kind of thinking, well, if I start to do it, then it might might cut out in the middle of it if our power goes out. So I didn't do that, and I decided to bring you all this gameplay instead. Alright, so I don't mean to, not going to talk about that the whole time, but thankfully everything is all good. Everything's fine in my area. I mean, there's a lot of damage reported. There's not a ton. So far, I haven't checked the news in a while, but it's all good, and hopefully nothing more bad will come of this. Okay, so let's actually get on to the main topic today. But first, this game is from Conquest on North Shore Canals, running support kit with the MP7 personal defense weapon. Got the holographic laser sight and extended mags are the attachments. I run this tank for a little while, as you obviously can see what I'm sitting in right now, destroying this Amtrak. Come on, buddy. Didn't even have a chance. But get out here pretty soon, as I almost died from sitting in this, but I bailed at the last second and start doing some groundwork with the MP7. But main topic today is going to be about personal defense weapons, or PDWs, and the MP7 is a gun that falls under that category, because it is a personal defense weapon. And in Battlefield 3, you have 7 personal defense weapons: the PP-2000, UMP-45, the AS-VAL, the MP7, the PDW-R, the P90, and the PP-19. And yes, the AS-VAL is a personal defense weapon. A lot of guys think that it is not, and they don't categorize it under personal defense weapons, but it actually is one, believe it or not. So you do have 7 different personal defense weapons, pretty good variety, and they're all, I mean, in a way different. There's some that are very similar to each other, but you can kind of, I guess, group them in categories. And some of those categories, I think these weapons are okay at, and some of them I'm really scratching my head at. And the main thing I want to talk about today is, really, are the personal defense weapons really even necessary for Battlefield 3? I mean, I don't really see them that much. Honestly, I don't. And, I run them very seldomly. I really do. Like, with this MP7, when this game started, I was just kind of flipping through guns, and which gun haven't I used in a while? Oh, I haven't used the MP7, so I think I'll use that. That's really what I did. Honestly, I would not really choose this gun to start out a match. I just don't find myself picking them up, any kind of personal defense weapons, that much anymore. Probably except for the AS-VAL is probably the only one I really do use on a more consistent basis. But when comparing the stats of these guns to anything such as a assault rifle or a carbine or any other kind of guns like that, I mean, do these PDWs really compare to these other weapons? I mean, sure, some have got a extreme high fire rate and some have low fire rates, but I find that I do almost better with any other kind of gun other than personal defense weapons, even in close quarters. Now, some of you guys out there may do excellent in close quarters with PDWs. That's great. That's what they're used for. I mean, that's why they're called personal defense weapons. They're not called, like, long-range defense weapons. I mean, good lord, that's a sniper. If you want to snipe, go use one of those. But PDWs, they just don't seem to put out the work that I think they should. I think sometimes an assault rifle and a carbine does better. And after kind of testing all these weapons out, and I have used all of them, don't worry. It's not like I haven't played with them. I have used all of them pretty good amount, and I've kind of gone through and found the strengths and weaknesses of every single one, and then now have gone back and played with more of the normal type of guns. I still find that the regular assault rifles and carbines are just better than these guns. I mean, there's only a very, very few, I guess, upsides to PDWs over any other kind of guns. And for me, when I talk generally in PDWs, I'm kind of excluding the AS Val because overall, in my opinion, that is just just about the outstanding best PDW you have. Pretty high damage, very high fire rate, very fast reload time, and is very accurate with not a ton of recoil. So the AS Val is almost like an assault rifle in a way. I mean, it is really, really good, and for me, it is a PDW, but it's, for me, the clear #1 favorite. So I kind of exclude it when I talk about them in general, because that gun is just, in my opinion, so much better than the rest of them. But probably besides the AS Val, probably the best one has got to be the P90. Honestly, I've played with the P90 now a lot more. I've started to get some better gameplays with it. Obviously, I'm playing with the MP7, as you can see right here. I've even picked up guns like the PP19, which I used to think was good, and come out to find that's maybe not so good. PDW-R, it's pretty good. Not really what I'm looking for, though. UMP-45, a lot of guys like to run that gun. I don't find it works well for me. And the PP2000, I just don't touch that gun anymore. I don't remember the last time I picked up and used it. So, but some of these guns, like the PP2000, the UMP-45, they have extremely low fire rates. You know, you have 600 for the UMP and 650 for the PP2000. Both of these guns do a max damage of 25, which is pretty standard, really among all guns as far as carbines and assault rifles. But their minimum damage, the PP2000 does 10 for a minimum damage. The UMP does 12.5 for minimum damage. I mean, these guns just don't put out the damage. And in close quarters, sure, they do high damage, but let's say you have something like, I don't know, an M16 versus a UMP-45. Or M16A3, that is. M16A3 is going to have 200 rounds a minute faster fire rate, 5 more bullets in your clip, same damage output except with a higher minimum damage, and more range and really better accuracy. So why would you even... I don't really find that the UMP, really compares to any other kind of gun that works well. I mean, it's got a slow fire rate in close quarters, which, for me, I find out that hurts. I need a faster firing gun so I can spit out more bullets faster than the other guy. The magazine clip is pretty small, only 25 rounds. So really, the UMP I don't find is really good for, I don't know, almost anything. I really don't enjoy playing with a gun. I used to for a while until I started going back to the kind of starter guns and realizing how much better they were. And that really carries over to a lot of the other personal defense weapons. PP2000, basically the same thing. Don't find that it does that great, even in close quarters where these guns are supposed to thrive. The MP7 is one of the guns I found it does pretty well at, but the high fire rate at 950 rounds, that's second highest in the game, only to the FAMAS. You will burn through those bullets so incredibly fast. You know, a lot of guys like to use PDWs for double kills. The MP7 is not a double kill gun. You will generally get 1 kill and 1 kill only, even with extended mags, just because you're having to hold down that trigger and those bullets are flying out there so fast. PDW-R, you know, it's got a mediocre 750 rounds with a max damage of 25 and a minimum of 12.5. You know, it's almost like the UMP. You find other guns like the M16A3, even other weapons such as, you know, the F2000 that are they just seem to perform better in close quarters, have better accuracy and range, and overall just a much better gun. And I don't know what it is about some of these PDWs, but they just, I don't know, maybe it's just me. I don't feel like these guns really do work that I think they should. They don't seem to, I don't feel like I have like a powerful gun in my hands in close quarters. Now, obviously, the best close quarters gun, or weapon category is shotguns, obviously. But in close quarters, I don't feel that the power of these guns are really worth it using. I feel that they should either get a damage buff or, have maybe their range slightly increased or something, because these guns just don't have the power. They don't have the high damage. Sure, they have the high fire rate, the big magazine clips, such as the 50 rounds in the P90 and the 54 in the PP19, but those guns, the damage on them is pretty low, and it just doesn't seem to work out really well. The MP7, like I said, generally you'll get one kill at a time. Occasionally you'll get one and then another, but most of these guns, you're just spraying bullets everywhere. Their accuracy is not that great. The AS Val is the most accurate, and I believe the MP7 is the second to the AS Val. So when it comes to accuracy, they're not really that great. They have a semi kind of high amount of spread, so I find that still assault rifles and carbines work better. But I don't know, do you guys really think that personal defense weapons are good or really are even useful in the game? The only time I find them useful is leveling up your recon kit if you are a just garbage sniper like myself. So that was really what I used it for, and that's about it. Other than that, I don't know. Should these guns really be left in the game, or should they stay in and get some kind of buff, whether it be accuracy, range, or damage? Me personally, I like to see a little bit of damage buff, even though they have a larger magazine size. I don't think that makes up for the low damage. It really doesn't for me, because you still have to use more bullets to take down an enemy. I wish they'd get a slight damage buff, like something like a P90 there's a max 20, perhaps like a 20, I don't know, a 22 or 23. I mean, you can do 21 if you want, but probably about 22, maybe 23 would be good. But I don't know. That's my opinion. So I hope you guys enjoyed the footage, and be sure to leave me your comments below, and hope you all have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you later.